Hey everybody! We thought we'd walk you through our garden. It's a lovely afternoon here in South Texas. We have a lot going on, so let's go take a look, see what we got planted. So this is our raised bed. As you can see, we've put some new layer of mulch down on top, mostly because it's starting to get up into the 95s here during the day. And we're trying to make sure that we retain as much moisture in our soil as possible. So let's go through and talk about some of the plants we have. I recently put in some marigolds here. They're supposed to attract more pollinators and also deter the pests. We have a big mosquito problem here, as you can probably imagine. We also have our carrots. There's only two, but they're going strong. They're growing nice and hard. This is a bit of garlic I planted, but it was a little bit too early in the season. I don't think I'm going to get any flowers off of it, unfortunately. Our cilantro is doing great. We're actually thinking it's about ready to bolt just because of the heat and the humidity down here. We have a few new plants that we put in. Over here we have some fennel. This is bronze fennel specifically. The description said that it has more of a celery flavor, less of a true fennel, bitter, cinnamony taste. Then we have some Empress of India, nasturtium. I'm probably not saying that right.
Nostrium?
Nostrium, sure.
Nasturtium.
Nasturtium?
That's what it is.
Let's go with that one.
No, I know that's it. That's it.
Nasturtium. We also have a new eggplant that we got. We're hoping that he's going to get nice and big up this bamboo trellis. Over here is the saddest little cucumber you'll ever see. That was a result of us trying to do some Kratky jars upstairs, but it just got too hot. So we thought we'd bring him down here and give him another shot. As you can see, he's not quite as big as his cousins behind him. He's got a lot to live up to, but we're hoping he'll do well. In the center over here, we have my beautiful wife's massive sunflower. This thing is going to be huge. We're looking at maybe 10, even 15 feet of a sunflower. To his left, we have our potato plant. We're having some bug issues, so I went ahead and doused everything with a healthy heap of diatomaceous earth, hoping that'll get rid of all the roly-polies. That seems to be our biggest trouble out here. Scattered around them, we have some pea plants here. There's a few in the back. There's one over there in the corner in front of the cucumber. The peas are doing okay. Not as well as we would like them to be, but they're hanging in there.
Alright, so this is my new green stock planter. I am beyond excited with how it has, well, it came in fast. That was the best part. And then so far everything that I've put in it is doing really, really well. So on the top layer is all different kinds of herbs. So we just kind of did a variety of the things that we like the most. Then on the second layer, I did some varieties of pole beans. So I have Kentucky Wonders and yard-long asparagus, and I only planted those a couple days ago, and they've already started to sprout, which is really exciting. Then I did lettuces on this third row. So I have a huge variety. So I have Yeticule lettuce, Rocky Top, and then around on the back side I have a cabbage. But one of the plants that Trevor was really excited to show you that we are both crazy excited about is Malabar spinach. We learned about it on YouTube and we found it at the store, and we both made very, very strange noises because we were so excited. So this is our beautiful Malabar spinach. This is kind of the spinach alternative for hot climates like Texas. So it thrives in heat. You can eat it raw, you can eat it cooked. It's technically not related to spinach, but it has a very similar taste. But we've noticed that I say it's creamy. Trevor says it's a little bit oily, but it is so good raw. But it has this texture that we can't figure out how to quite explain. But we've only tried leaves and we're already excited. And then I have a few loofahs down at the bottom. And then if you come around on this side, I have a few random guys over here. This is from our mystery tomato. We planted some
suckers.
Yes. And then we also have a Black Beauty zucchini. I was going to say cucumber.
Close.
That would be weird. So we have that in here as well. And those are just recent finds. And then I also planted some black beans. So one of the big parts of our garden is our planted pots.
Yeah, as you can imagine, in an apartment, we don't have a lot of room other than our little raised bed, so we try to squeeze as much as we can out here. So we're going to go through and kind of look at all of our pots that we have today.
So in this little bronze guy over here, we have a combination of some tomato starts and a couple of beans in there to fix nitrogen. They're coming along really well. We'll probably separate them out as they get a little bigger. And our next one, we have some pickling cucumbers coming up. We got them a little baby trellis to help get them started. Those will probably stay in this pot as they develop, just depending on how big they get. If they get anything like their neighbor that's attached to the house, this pot's not gonna quite be enough. Then we have some rocky top lettuces with a potato, yes?
Yep, we just transplanted him.
That's what I thought, okay.
Don't think he's gonna do too well though. He was having a rough time in our bags that our potato sacks. So
he gave us 2 potatoes already. So
yeah,
we'll see what he can do. We also have some beans in here, and then the majority of this pot is little rocky top lettuces that have just sprouted. Have some more tomatoes and beans in here. This one is another pickling cucumber. Then I just planted these 2 yesterday. This one is a beautiful green and orange squash called Lakota squash that I'm really excited to see. It's just gonna take a while. So right now it looks like an empty pot. So I have the Lakota squash and a honey nut squash, which was recommended by Jess on Roots and Refuge. That was one of her favorite squash to grow. So we found it and figured we'd give it a try. I want to try some homegrown artichokes, so when I found some artichoke seeds, I decided we should go for it. So I just planted some of those. A lone little tomate.
This is a sweet 100. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, we had a few of these going, but they just haven't been doing too well.
They're growing so slowly.
So slowly. It's so painstaking.
I'm really excited because these 2 are my little baby okra. So these are my first little sprouts. They are going to be joined by a few others that are in our little nursery.
I believe this was the Clemson spineless that we planted here. Yeah.
And then over here we found a sprout of a burgundy okra at the garden store. So we were very excited about that.
Next,
now this little guy. He started inside. He is
This is a Buena Mulata, yeah.
Right? And so he lived in our hydroponic system inside, and he was doing great.
Really well.
Slow, but doing good. And we're like, all right, it's time to transplant him. And now he looks like that.
Yeah. We're not quite sure what's going on. He had some blooms, which is why we thought it was about time to stick him outside. If anybody watching has a suggestion on what we're doing wrong, we would love to have some help.
Yeah, we are trying really hard. We haven't had a lot of success with peppers so far. So...
Which is interesting. You'd think that being in Texas, we would have plenty of time for peppers. But no, we're having some issues there.
No.
Over here, we have our potato bags that we have commandeered. We have some more sweet 100s growing with a little bit of beans in the center. We're just trying to get as many beans as possible, honestly.
Because we want that nitrogen fixation. Since they're in a collected pot and they're probably going to spend most or not, if not all of their lives there, we want them to have those different things that they need all in their pot already. Now this one's probably the most experimental that we have. Let's skip the front for now and let's talk about the back. Of here we have an onion plant that was sprouted from just one we had left over in the kitchen, and it's been doing really well. This one's probably been in here for at least a month. And we also have a potato plant over here that probably needs to be hilled soon, and it's doing great back there. And there's also a sneaky little bean plant over here fixing nitrogen for us.
Yeah, got a few in here.
But the main part of this mystery basket is our mystery tomato. We don't know what kind of tomato this is. We found it in our compost bin. We're like, wow, that looks really healthy. We should plant it. We planted it. It started growing flowers and is now making tomatoes, which look like Romas, which we don't have Roma seeds. So we're very confused. So we're gonna post some close-ups of this. If anyone has any idea what it is, we would love to know. Next to him, we have a little isn't it like a miniature cherry tomato?
These were the heirloom cherry tomatoes I got. As some of you may know, my grandparents gave me a little hydro kit that I'm using inside. These were some that came with it. Although they are putting out prolific amounts.
They're so small.
They're very small.
They're
and
like the size of dimes.
yeah, and
they taste alright.
They taste great, but the leaves, I'm having a hard time keeping decent leaf texture on there. And then this poor guy, oh man, he had a bad time with the frost. We got like literally one day.
Yeah, we got one frost.
Yeah, it was awful. Like
whole year.
Yeah, of the whole year, we got one day. It was
Welcome
less.
to Texas
Yeah,
now.
and he just took it hard. He took it full front, and he's
still hanging.
he's
on.
trying. He's trying his hardest, and as much as I would like to, I can't convince myself to uproot him. I'm just gonna let him do his thing.
So he's got a few little teeny tiny tomates, and we're just gonna let him keep tomating.
So we used to have this rack upstairs where we had a whole bunch of different jars and seed starting, but it was just getting way too hot. So we moved him down here. We think we're using him a little bit more efficiently for sure. So we have a few different seed trays going. This is a new addition. We have a lot of different beans going. We also have some bell peppers, some sweet bananas, and a couple of pumpkins, and then some Kentucky pole beans all along this row right here. I'm trying my hand at some more sweet 100s. We'll see how that turns out. I don't know. Those burpee seeds just weren't working for us. And as you can see back here, I have a whole bunch of different little pepper plants growing. These are all jalapenos. I actually pulled these seeds out of peppers that I got from the grocery store. So we'll see how they do. They seem to be going well. Over here we have some okra. This is some more Clemson spineless. I also tried some Swiss chard. So we'll see if this comes up well. Down
That's
here,
for the bunnies.
Yeah, the chard's for the bunnies. We also have some microgreens growing. I'm really anxious about these. We have some mustards and some arugulas. So we'll see what comes up.
Those came in a little kit, right?
Yeah. This little batch right here came in a huge kit. I just sewed it super thin or super thick, hoping that we would get a little, and it just exploded. It actually did very well.
You didn't talk about my sad little plants at the top.
Oh, the sad plants at the top. Let's go through the sad plants at the top.
These were rescued from upstairs. I don't remember what they are.
I think that one was a broccoli. I'm not quite sure.
I can't remember.
Nope.
But they're sad, and they're hanging on, and they're a weird color. So we're just hoping that we can revitalize them a little bit. Then is that a garlic or an onion?
That was a green onion. That was a chive.
Oh, right,
And,
right.
Yeah, as you can see at the top, it's actually starting to flower. So
Which we're super excited about, because that's
Yeah.
really the only reason we kept it.
yes, hopefully we can get some seeds out of that. That'd be cool. So this is Cuke. He is our first and largest cucumber plant. I've never grown cucumbers before in my backyard, so this is actually a pretty interesting little project for me. As you can see, we're trying to get him to grow up our water gutter here so that we can give him something to adhere to. Hopefully, we can get him to attach to our back rail on our second balcony. That would be really cool. These are actually two different cucumber plants. We planted one in front of this ugly bush that we just can't seem to do anything with, and he's taken over. He's looking great. We are getting some cucumbers. We got a couple of little boys in here. Lots of flowers. I'm really excited to see what we can get. I can't imagine that we're going to get a small yield off of how big of a plant this is. So I got plenty of ball jars ready. We got lots of vinegar and some pickling salt. I can't wait. It's going to be a great time. But as you can see, he's just growing nice and strong. I can't wait to see what he puts out.
Alright, thank you guys so much for joining us on our garden tour. It is the end of May, moving into June, so we'll probably do another one here in a month or so. But we just wanted to show you around, see what we're doing, and if...
It's more like the middle of May.
True.
It's like the 17th.
Okay, fine, the middle of May.
This is our May update.
And also, if it looks like we have a ton of stuff crammed into a really small space, that's because we do. We're in an apartment and we are just trying to make the most of the space that we have and use every bit of it. So we have to get really creative. We have our whole garden lined with pots. We have the biggest garden space we could come up with. So we are just trying to make the best of everything that we can. Right. Bye, y'all.